To our big local story of the day, we've known since last year that Amtrak was going to restart passenger rail service in Mobile after a 2-decade interruption.
Amtrak just made a major announcement, and it's got train lovers and travel fans buzzing. The iconic Mardi Gras service is making a comeback. After years off the radar, this legendary route is rolling back into the spotlight, and it's aiming to bring some serious rail glory back to the U.S. But it's not all smooth tracks just yet. There are still a few bumps the government needs to deal with before this train officially leaves the station. So what's really going on? Let's break it down in today's episode of Great Trainspeed. Amtrak's new Mardi Gras service revives a long-dormant intercity rail connection between Mobile, Alabama, and New Orleans, Louisiana. The name isn't just symbolic. It reflects the shared cultural vibrancy of the Gulf Coast and the festive spirit that unites its communities. But beyond the celebration, this service represents a strategic improvement in regional mobility and connectivity. The route stretches along a scenic 145-mile corridor with planned twice-daily departures in both directions. Passengers will be able to board in New Orleans and Mobile, with key stops in Bay St. Louis, Gulfport, Biloxi, and Pascagoula. All communities that have gone nearly 2 decades without intercity rail service since Hurricane Katrina disrupted operations in 2005. The return of rail is more than symbolic. It's functional. The Mardi Gras service is designed to integrate seamlessly with Amtrak's broader national network. Passengers at New Orleans Union Passenger Terminal will be able to make same-day connections to Chicago via the city of New Orleans, and next-day links to New York or Los Angeles through the Crescent and Sunset Limited. This opens up the Gulf Coast to both regional and long-distance travelers, enhancing its appeal for tourism and business alike. Inside the trains, riders can expect modern amenities such as reclining seats, carry-on luggage storage, and a comfortable onboard experience designed to meet the standards of today's intercity travel. While not high speed, the service focuses on convenience, accessibility, and scenic value, particularly along Mississippi's 62 miles of shoreline, known for its beaches, historic towns, and southern hospitality. This renewed service is backed by a public-private partnership totaling $223 million in funding. Investments are directed toward infrastructure upgrades, including track improvements, station refurbishments, new signal systems, and passenger-friendly facilities. Key funding partners include the Federal Railroad Administration, FRA, Amtrak, CSX, and Norfolk Southern. The city of Mobile has also committed $3 million over 3 years to help subsidize operations, a significant step forward after years of local debate over funding. Local leaders have expressed broad support. David Clark, president and CEO of Visit Mobile and a commissioner with the Southern Rail Commission, described the project as a major win for coastal communities. Others involved in station redevelopment efforts are equally optimistic, viewing the rail revival as a catalyst for economic development and urban revitalization. Recently, they made a major announcement about this new train that could surprise not just Americans, but people around the world. So, what's the big news? Let's dive into it in the next part.
After years of delays, a passenger train from New Orleans to Mobile will start making trips next month.
It's official. Amtrak's Mardi Gras service is making its big comeback on August 18th, and people are more than ready.
On one of those trains, the first one out of New Orleans on August 18th, already 100 tickets have been sold.
In fact, the very first train out of Mobile, scheduled to leave bright and early at 6:30 a.m., is already sold out. So is the return ride from New Orleans later that afternoon at 4:30. Not bad at all for a route that hasn't seen regular passenger rail service in nearly 2 decades. It's clear that anticipation has been building for a while, and now that it's finally here, riders aren't wasting a second. The new service, with a more than 60-mile route that hugs the Gulf Coast and offers a scenic alternative to the usual highway slog. Amtrak has kept things simple and affordable. Tickets start at just $15 one way, though prices go up based on demand. When we checked fares across a variety of dates, including weekdays, Mardi Gras season, and weekends with major events like Saints home games, most coach seats fell between $24 and $30. Business class costs almost twice as much, but for a short ride with extra comfort, some folks say it's worth the splurge. Either way, for a relaxing regional trip with no gas, no traffic, and no parking headaches, it's a solid deal. Amtrak's also offering discounts for kids, seniors, veterans, and group travelers, signaling that this isn't just a flashy seasonal launch, it's designed to serve the everyday traveler too. Whether you're a local heading to the French Quarter for a weekend getaway, or a tourist looking to explore the Gulf Coast without renting a car, this new line has something for you. The buzz around the launch is real. Amtrak's Vice President of Network Development captured the mood with one word: finally. That one word carried years of waiting, planning, and pushing to bring back a service that many felt was long overdue. The excitement was especially strong in Mobile, where city officials and residents gathered for the announcement. While Mayor Sandy Stimson emphasized how the new train could help breathe life into the city's waterfront, connecting more people with downtown and boosting local businesses.
More people downtown means more opportunities for people to come in your store, so we're thrilled.
Online, the vibe is just as upbeat. People took to social media almost instantly after the announcement. One user simply shouted, "Hell yeah!" while another dubbed it the beach train. A few commenters even compared it to other short-haul routes like Indianapolis to Chicago. You can really feel that this service has struck a chord, not just with rail enthusiasts, but with everyday travelers who've been craving a simpler, smoother way to get between two iconic southern cities. So yeah, the train hasn't even left the station yet, but the hype is already rolling. With strong ticket sales, a broad base of support, and a whole lot of goodwill from the public, the Amtrak Mardi Gras service might just prove that Gulf Coast passenger rail is back and here to stay. But while things are off to a strong start, there are still a few bumps on the road.
Get to New Orleans, maybe spend some time there or not, and then head on out.
While infrastructure work for the Mardi Gras service is progressing across the Gulf Coast, the road to launch hasn't been entirely smooth. Like many large-scale transportation projects, this one faces the usual risks: delays, coordination challenges, and funding gaps. But one issue stands out: Alabama's incomplete commitment at the state level. Mississippi and Louisiana, for instance, have each contributed $3 million from their state budgets to help support the route. Alabama, by contrast, has yet to follow suit. Despite verbal assurances from Governor Kay Ivey's office, the $1 million share expected from the state remains unfunded. The legislature passed its budget this year without setting aside any money for the project. There's been no legislation introduced and no visible push to secure the funds before opening day. The city of Mobile and the Alabama State Port Authority have both fulfilled their obligations as part of a three-way funding plan, with Mobile alone contributing over $3 million. But their support was based on the expectation that the state would match it, an expectation that remains unmet. This uncertainty has sparked concern among local officials. Members of the Mobile City Council, who voted to fund the project last year, are still hopeful the state will come through. At the same time, memories of Alabama's past resistance to Gulf Coast passenger rail, mostly tied to freight rail interests, continue to shape the conversation. At the moment, Alabama is the only Gulf Coast state that hasn't contributed state-level funds to the project. And with trains set to begin service soon, the question remains, will the state fully commit, or will it simply watch from the platform? Nobody can say for sure just yet, but with the return of the Mardi Gras train and all the excitement surrounding it, one thing's clear: the real test is just beginning. Launching a train is one thing. Keeping it running long-term is another. With funding still uncertain and state support hanging in the balance, this comeback could go either way. If the momentum fades or political priorities shift, we could see another promising route stall out. But if the public interest stays strong and local leaders stay on board, this could become a model for future regional rail expansions. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this update, make sure to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss any future rail news. Catch you in the next one.